Hey, what's good everybody? Welcome to my channel. My name is Orphe and today we are talking about photo retouching in Photoshop. If you don't want to miss anything on my channel, if you enjoy my videos, please make sure to subscribe today. All right, let's jump right into it. We're gonna go from this, let me see, we're going for this photo. So we're gonna export and go to Photoshop. I shot this with the R5. I'm exporting PSD, as you can see, 16 bits. ProPhoto, that's my profile. I use ProPhoto all the time. 300 ppi for my resolution. And on the long edge, I use 8192 pixels. All right, pixel. All right, then I'm going to open with Photoshop 2025. So I'm using the latest version of Photoshop. I'm going to export this one photo. This will take me right into Photoshop. What I do, the first step, I apply my copyrights just to make sure this image is copyrighted. Let me just do before and after. As you can see in the corner right here, there's no copyright sign. I have an action that I put and it actually creates my copyright. So the copyright is on the photo itself. It's good to have, of course, these new AI tools, but it's always better to know what you are doing before using those AI tools, because sometimes they might apply something that is very too hard, for example, but you gotta be able to see it. So this is what knowing how to retouch before those AI tools. There's a bunch of them out there. They're all good, but I just feel like knowing how to retouch, it's without all these tools, it's a great thing. So what I do, I zoom in usually. Okay, I don't like when I see this. You can come to view and remove all the extras. So what I do, I kind of zoom in and see, I zoom in at about 100% on top here. And I started to see what I have to remove. So what I'm removing is anything that is non-permanent. That's what I do. I remove everything that is non-permanent. Like for example, this thing here. Okay, let me just switch to my tablets. For example, okay. Let me go and give you this real quick. All right, for example, those are the things that we are going to remove. Maybe this, you know, some things here. This, this, you're a little bit here. This one I might be leaving it because I feel like it's part of the skin. I'm gonna remove this. Make sure maybe to this part here, like this here. I'll still go this pimple here. Maybe this as well, but this I'm leaving because that's part of who she is. It's not going anywhere. And few little spots here and there. Now, for the hair, we're gonna talk about it after. Same thing. This little spot, these little things, this, and that. All right, and maybe the lines on the neck. Those are all the things that we are going to take care of. All right, let's do it. Okay, I'm gonna create another layer. So the first step is I create a blank layer. I don't do my frequency separation. I think I stopped doing it a while back. I prefer doing dodge and burn and you know, just use the whole the old tool, the healing brush tool. That's what I use. So what I do, I'll just call this blemishes. All right. I'll just click on J. All right. All right. Remove to. Now, everything depends also on how you are going to look at the photo. If this gonna end on Instagram, there's not much to do. If your work is based on Instagram, there's not much to do. So I'll just take care of this. Current and below. Okay. Current and below. Just remove a few things here and there. You know, you just want to go ahead and remove. Let me just remove this. Simple. As you can see, this is really, it's not, I'm not doing anything fancy, no dodge and burn. I mean, for this, I know that I could have used, you know, the AI tools, but this is for me just to show you. This is just for me to show you how to edit without the tools, the AI tools. All right. All right. All right. This is literally how I retouch my images. Like I said, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I use the one of those AI softwares, but most of the time, when I have time and I just wanna, you know, I don't want to lose my touch, my retouching skill. You know, this is just like an exercise sometimes for me. I'll go ahead and remove this. All right. Now for this, everything depends, but I'll just take it out. All right. I know there's something here. All right. The reason why you want to zoom in, and it's simply because you want to see few things that are happening, and it's a good practice not to zoom in all the time. Because unless you're working on an exposition that you're going to blow up your image a certain way, usually I zoom in at about like I don't go over 300%. Now we are at 285%. So I'll take these and I'm going to use the new remove tool The remove tool, what I love about it is just because it's just like an AI tool, you know, and this is what it does. You know, it knows, the AI tool kind of knows what to remove and what not. Oh no, let me just do my Command Z here. Command Z, excuse me. All right, so there's not much, to be honest. Those are the before and after. And it's also, like I say, good practice to just sometimes zoom in like this, but not all the time. Not all the time, because most photos, you're not looking at a photo that zoomed in. It's just, for me, I always think about, what if one day I you know, I do an exposition or a vernissage, how you say that in French. Now, in terms of hair, you know, although all the hair are all over the place because we had something, you know, one thing that I would do, I'm probably just gonna get rid of this because it's unnecessary, because it just comes on the model's face for no reason. So same for here. All right, now on her body, same, remove few little things here and there. All right, now all right, okay, those are the few things. I probably would have gone like super crazy. Not really. I don't go super crazy on stuff, especially when it comes to retouching, because I see it as a whole. So I probably, most of the time, what I do, I back up a little bit just to see what happened. If I do the before and after, those are the few changes that we made. All right, so I'm not, just for the purpose of this video, I'm not gonna go too crazy. And the next step is I just look at the photo. Let me just assume this is what I'm doing, or let's just say that I'm done editing this. What I would do is now use the dodge and burn. I have a dodge and burn, the blank dodge and burn action that I created. And from that dodge and burn action, you can you're gonna see what I do. So I add a black and white layer, because what happens with dodge and burn is just for you to see, you gotta see the different tones on your image. And the only way for you to see the tones, I mean, it's not the only way, but the best way to see it, it's by looking at your image in black and white. And that's what I did, because when you see in black and white, you're gonna see what are the different tones on the picture. So let's go. This is my dodge and burn. I'll click on the letter D, X. If you press on X on your keyboard, it changes, as you can see, the foreground and the background color. So we're gonna go and see what are the things that we need to take care of. I reduce the opacity. This is 3%. I'll put at, when you type, for example, 0.3, you're gonna get 3%. Okay, what am I doing? Okay, 0.3, 3%, super fast, 0.6, 6%, 1, you get 10%. So I'll just start with a lower number, 3% because I'm going into a darker area. And also, since I'm using the tablet, it's always good to rotate your image to have a good, sense of editing, because, we are let me see, let me show you something. When you edit, if I want to go up and down, for example, if I want to do my stroke up and down, it's easier for me to do it from up and down. But if the photo was just like this, left and right doesn't, seem natural. So I usually, you click on R, the letter R, and you hold and you start rotating. This is how I edit my photo. All right, so let's go on the neck here. And what I'm doing, I'm just painting with a wide brush. I'm passing a little bit over those lines, those black lines. Okay. All right. Okay. And just because we are in a dark area underneath the chin, it's better to use a low opacity. Okay, let me show you before and after. It doesn't seem like, it's doing anything, but you are doing something. So let me just go back, just zoom out, before and after, before and after. Now, the thing is, you have to decide what you are doing. You got to decide what you're supposed to do. How much of cleanness, I don't know if that's a word, how clean you want your photo to look like. For me, I leave some of the imperfections, and that's how I do stuff. All right, so there's one line here. If I go back, I zoom in, I zoom out, you're gonna see there's like a line here. I'll just rotate. All right, rotate, quick, dodge and burn. I'm still on the dodge and burn layer with a wide brush. Sorry if I'm speaking in staccato, All right, so let me just put 0.6, opacity at 0.6, just to go a little faster. In that circumstances, you can do flow or opacity. It's really up to you. There's no, you don't have to do opacity. But as you can see, do you see the before and after? How it goes away? Underneath eye, same thing. Same thing. Oh, yeah, on that. Yeah. The reason why you want to do dodge and burn, it's simply because it keeps everything natural. Now, for example, as you can see, there's a little white line here. If I want to get rid of it, I'll just click on D and switch to a black foreground just to seal everything here. All right, so before and after, and all this few other stuff. To be honest, you get the point. I'll just do things real quick. Here, for example, when you zoom out, that's when the magic happens, because you kind of see all those little spotty part. You're gonna see like black spots on the face or on the body, some or even white spot. So When things are not consistent, this is what you do. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Let me see this. I want to show you the before and after. Before and after. I usually spend more time on this. Spend more time on this. Okay. Let's see here. I'm gonna put 6 opacity. You kind of see those little spots. Everything depends on how you want to change things, you know. You kind of see how we are reshaping things. All right, for example, here, there's a wide gap. I'll put the opacity at 6. I'm gonna try to cover up this part. All right. Before and after. As you can see, before and after. This is just like we're doing things a little bit real quick. Before and after, very subtle. And that's pretty much it. Like for what I will probably do a little bit more of that, but you know, you can now accentuate some parts. So for example, if you wanna, let's say, accentuate some stuff, you can come here. All right, let me just put the black and white, and then you can also accentuate, you know, for example, the lips. And you can make like subtle things, subtle changes. You can really make subtle changes. It's not that complicated. What I do, to be honest, when I go in and do my dodge and burn, of course, it takes a lot of time when I do, you know, this, when I'm more meticulous. All right. Let me do 0.3. All right. Now we're gonna go like this. All right. As you can see, before and after, before and after. So we're still keeping the, you know, the features of the person. Like I said, you can accentuate things. As you can see, her lips. You can go in, dial into her eyes. I'll put 20 for opacity, and I'll paint white on that catch light just once. I'll put 10 maybe on the eyes to make it white a little bit. I'm doing real quick, you know, just paint a little bit over. And as you can see already, before and after, before and after. And now if I want to add a little bit more pop into the photo, there's this trick that I do. I just put up my curve and drag just a tiny bit my input. As you can see, it makes a little difference. It's subtle, but it kind of removes that haze, and it gives more character to the photo. You know, and of course, if you've done a little bit too much, you can reduce the opacity, and then you can play with different things. For example, let me just create a black and white, and I can play with the opacity and just maybe create something that has more impact, you know. And then again, I can keep going on that dodge and burn. Let me just remove that and create a more global dodge and burn, which means I'll go with a bigger brush. Brush on this side of a face. I'll reduce the opacity to bring up this part. Just brush a little. Opacity 20. No, that's a little too much. Opacity 10. And you can see in her hair, I'll just do things like this to make sure that we're kind of adding dimension to the whole photo. So the photo, it's not just, you know, you can add few things here and there. And also with the tablet, what I can do, I can, you know, change the pressure of the tip of my pen when I edit. This is something also that I do sometimes if I want to go a little bit more on painting mode, you know. But that's pretty much what I do. Like for example, if I want to add a little bit of dimension onto, no, that's too much. No. Let me do 7. I'll do this. And now you have her nose. Okay, let me close this part here because I see there's a white part. And now I'm gonna give it a little bit more dimension by adding dodging and burning. As you can see, I'm switching from forward and background, and you know, I'm switching between the foreground and background just to have, you know. Okay, now let me just do 0.2. All right. As you can see, I'm changing. Now I'm kind of changing the photo itself. Look at the before and after. Before and after. And once again, you see, I made everything on the same dodge and burn, but I could have created a different layer for my dodge and burn and then change all the overall dodge and burning on a different layer. All right. This is something that you can do to accentuate. If I do this here, I don't have to, but it adds dimension to the photo. Open the eyes a little bit. Open, not too much because the light is coming this way, so I don't want to do too much. All right, just a little bit on this side. Give it a little bit of more dimension. Now, There's another thing that you can do. One of the tricks is that, okay, let me just show you the before. We go from this to this, and of course I can create jump layer and go to, and I'll go to Command Shift A, and I'll go to a Camara Raw. Let me see. This is the clipping part. What I can do is simply, let's say I want to add a little bit of clarity. Let's say just a little bit of clarity here. What else? Texture. Now, let's say this is what I want. I can always, of course, I didn't create a smart object, but you can toggle from this to this. So this is what I had in Camara Raw. If I feel that it's a little too much, I can reduce a little bit the opacity. Same thing for my dodge and burn. I can reduce a little bit just to give it more, you know, realism. I don't know if that's a word, but you know, to keep the real aspect of a person, the real traits of a person. Just this, as you can see, I didn't do no what's it called, frequency separation. Of course you can do. I'm not saying you don't have to do, but this is what I do most of the time if I have time, you know, because it's always a question of having time to do stuff. So what you can do, jump layer, I'll call it sharpness. You can go to filter, sharpen, unsharp mask, and this is what you can get. Depending on the radius, I put a mount at 251, and now I start changing the radius, and it gives me more, you know, more to the photo. And this amount changes depending on whether you're working on a JPEG image, with a JPEG image, or not with a JPEG image. All right. And then you have two choices. You can reduce the opacity for the overall, or you can play with a mask. When I click option, it creates a black mask, and then I can start adding a little bit of, you know, sharpness to the areas that I want to add sharpness, if that makes sense. All right, a little bit on the hair, you know. Look at the before and look at the after. There's no dodging, there's no skin smoothing, there's nothing, and that's pretty much it. And at the end, what I do, I add my noise. Yes, this is my nose that I created. Andy Voss is the name that I used back in the days. And I create a mask. This is a process that I do through channels. I'm not gonna go too deep into that. Reduce the opacity, and voila. All right, that's it for today. Let me know what you think. If you have questions, don't hesitate to write in the comments. All right, see you in the next episode. I'm Orphy the Me Baby. Cheers.